Hello everyone. As the rest joins, we are just going to start. I hope you are audible and you can see my screen as well. So today we are going to be covering on how to deal with our output, how to save our work since we left it hanging yesterday, of which we're supposed to make sure we do that today, so that you won't be having hanging work over the weekend. So yeah, so just a recap of what we did yesterday. We covered joins, whereby if I go to the data source, this was the superstore dataset that we're using. In joining table, we say we drag our sheets from this point to the field here, and to join we make sure we release the second sheet once we see a continuous line linking the two of them. And again, we said joining is done when two sheets, these are the tables involved here, they have a common column, or a common field. That's when they join, otherwise they won't be joining. So you have to make sure you check on that. On the other hand, we did union. I'm just going to confirm on how we are supposed to do our assignment yesterday, and after that we work on today's work. On the worksheet area, we began by getting a pie chart, of which now it should be easier as we have done it a number of times. Then a map as well. And I mentioned that in most cases, for example, if you check closely, you'll see the names of the states, of this state that has a large surface area. But when you look at, for example, New Jersey here, we have another state here, this New York, we're having the name. We don't have the name of Connecticut, we don't have the name of Massachusetts, then we don't have the name of Vermont. So all these states, some of them you can't really see their names. Sorry. So probably it would be advisable, if you're presenting the same work, adding our work here, our labels would also be helpful. Okay, that's on the map. Then we have how to create a chart, in this case when dealing with dates. And the most part that we dwelt on is, let me just close this. Okay, so the date. So I want to drag the variable just outside and do a view of how we went about it. So we just dragging the date into the column, and what we did is open up the year to quarter to months by the use of this plus box in front of the variable. So click on that and you can minimize. So once you wind it up, you get the minus to minimize it. Then under quarter we have the same, and once you get to the months, we remove the year and the quarter so that we just have the month, and we get a continuous line, which is not also what we want, because we know our data distribution was across a number of years. So we went ahead and just besides the month we have a drop down. We made sure that the month we are using is not a month reading just month, but the month on the second section that reads the month and the year at this point. Just click on that and you get your output. Then after that, of course, we did data background formatting by right clicking format. In our case, we're having lines running row wise, so you make sure you underline row so that you remove the grid lines. You make sure grid lines are none, and you have your screen okay. Another thing that's most also critical is where you are changing the background under shading. Make sure you under sheet, because you're changing the background of the entire sheet, and then you change the color. And of course, you mentioned that the color shouldn't be a bright color, so that it doesn't interfere with your charts. Yeah, we did correlation by the use of a scatter plot. This is where you're using two continuous variables to see how these two variables are related. And because they exist as measures, we changed one thing under the variables in both of them by clicking on the drop down, and we changed our variable from a measure where we had a count of sum to dimension. The variable still remained continuous, but we changed it to dimension so that we don't have the summation, the count, the average of our variables, but we have all our entries included in our analysis. To add the line of model fit, you right click, we have the trend line, show trend line, and you're able to add this goodness of fit line, which tells us there is a positive correlation because the line is running positively. Yeah, and then the last thing we did was to create donut charts, whereby we only added one thing, that's a variable which we called the zero axis, and we created the zero axis by going to analysis, create calculated field, called the variable zero axis, and what we entered in our field here was just 0, and that was all. Yeah, so those were the things that we covered yesterday. And of course, we removed the zero axis by right clicking, and then you hide by unchecking the show header so that you don't have the zero axis entries. On the other hand, I gave you our work whereby you're supposed to create the dashboard. Most of you did it well, perfectly, especially on the combination of the worksheet, the alignment, and everything. So the only thing I said we should always remove, for example, I'll add a dashboard here by the use of the dashboard tab, or I can just right click here and I'm able to add a new dashboard. We increase the size of our dashboard and a size the maximum width. Yeah, and I'm using the floating. I hope you understood the difference between floating and tiled. So what I said, once you drag a variable, let's say our map here, once you drop it to this field, you'll always have this key. Yeah, depending on the variable you're using, the key of in most cases for the categorical variables, so you have to remove it. Yeah, imagine having a combination of let's say 7 or 8 worksheets, and each key is visible on the screen. Your work won't be consistent. You won't even be able to look on the details of the dataset. That's why it's recommended you remove it by closing the key. Yeah, otherwise everything else is okay. Okay, so let me resize it. You just select on it and resize it by the use of, yeah, I'll again resize, kind of minimize on it, so I'll just use the plus button here to zoom out. Let me add it again so that I don't interfere with any details within it. let me adjust on the sheet area so that, sorry, okay, let me add the rest of the worksheet. The alignment depends on your fields, the fields that you're having. So yeah, so all you need is the alignment of your work. And we say in most cases when you're working with dashboard, just make sure your dashboards or your charts are not that many in dashboard, so that it is just simple, easier for one to look at it and understand what you are really presenting. So after a dashboard, the next thing we're supposed to be working in how to create a story, and that's what I'm going to be showing you. And we said a story is a combination of multiple worksheets inclusive of a dashboard. So you can have worksheets and dashboards together and you get a story. Yeah, so to add a story, again we go through the same 3 steps. Under either of the worksheet area here, you right click and we have new worksheet, new dashboard, then we have new story. Just click on new story. The other way is the last icon here. We have new worksheet, new dashboard, and the last one is new story. Just click on that. The last way is under the menu tab. We have file, data, worksheet, dashboard, and then we have story. Click on story, new story. Yeah, so you're able to add multiple stories in that manner. Once you create a story, you adjust it accordingly, and this is how we go about it. So you can see we have a list of worksheets, and also you can see our dashboard, the dashboard we created. But now the dragging and dropping in under the story is totally different from dragging and dropping a variable to a dashboard. So I'll start with sheet 1. I'll drag it to either the field, or you can drop it in this box here. Either way, you're able to add it to your screen. Yeah, so after adding the first worksheet, if you try to add a second worksheet on top of the added worksheet, you can see the name replace. What happens? You either replace the existing one with the current sheet that you're carrying. For example, if I drop at that point, I loses the previous sheet. Yeah, so to add multiple stories without interfering with the rest, you come to where we're having new story point. We have blank. You can do a duplicate of an existing one. Yeah, but you just want a blank for now. After adding a blank, you realize now we have two captions here, the first one that we added and the second one. And of course you can rename them. Yeah, you can rename them. For example, I can just double click on the first one and call it location. Of course you can give more details about it. The same case apply to the second. Yeah, now you can go ahead and drag the second sheet that you want to work with to the second slide, which will not interfere with the first one where we have it in location. In the second hand we want we have a pie. That's one way of adding a blank, whereby after adding you drag and drop. The other way is just drag your sheet or the dashboard you're working with to either the point here to the front part if you want it to begin. If you want it in the middle of the two existing one, you just add it here, and to the last. And this is how we go about it. I'm dragging sheet 3. If I want it to the first, you drop it once you see these two blue like drop downs, one on top, the other at the bottom. You'll see it when you put it at the middle and to the end. So once you're able to see that and you want to drop that variable there, just drop it. It will add the caption. It will add the caption, and also it will add the sheet itself. So we can do the same for this one. I'll add it to the middle between these two, and it's added. So you can see the last one is and the second last. Yeah. So you go ahead and add them that way. And also the dashboard, of course, of which if you are creating a story to be recommended, you now add a dashboard as the last one, so that once they have a view of sorry, of one of the worksheets, at the end they see a combination of all of them. Sorry. So this is how we create a story. So you can rename them accordingly. The first one is the location. We have a pie. Yeah, of course you can add a caption as a description of what the worksheet entails, and also the dashboard. Yeah, because on top you can't tell which is a story, which is a dashboard. So you're the one to know this is the dashboard, this is a story, this is sorry, this is a dashboard, this is a worksheet, and this is what each of them tells us about our data set. Yeah, so we have created a story. Just show you one more step. Let me check on that. It's mostly applicable in most cases when you are running an analysis. But I just realized later on that it doesn't run the animation whereby you want to have so you can see the animation here, and with the animation we have the on it animation. You add it by going to analysis, now format, then you see the animation tab. You see the on and the off. Yeah, so let me make sure I'm added the first one. We have the duration, we have fast, medium, we have slow and very slow. Yeah, so let's have a medium. Then we have the style, sequential, either one at a time. Then we have simultaneously, all at the same time. So yeah, when it's on, it's supposed to start running, but I realize it doesn't run. But sorry, excuse me. Okay, sorry for that. So as I was saying, it doesn't run, so maybe probably when using the Tableau desktop we should try that. And I said Tableau desktop is a 14 days trial version, so you can try it on that point. Okay, so you can't create a dashboard without worksheets. Neither can you create a story without worksheets, of which the story gives you an additional advantage where you are able to combine all the worksheets and the dashboards involved. And I said you can rename them and give them a way to run at this point. Yeah. So I'll just remove the animation since it's not running, and then we're going to see on what we're supposed to cover today. We're going to be looking on data input, data output, especially once you're able to run your analysis or when you're having your data. And then thereafter we are going to see how you can save your work, of which is a process. That's why we haven't been saving our work, so you have to follow this. One major thing to put in consideration is have your dashboard or your worksheets, because when we do the saving, what will be saved is the entire thing from the sheet 1, where I'm having sheet 1, all the way to the story I created at the end. If you have empty worksheets and you don't have anything to add, you can remove them. Okay, I want to remove sheet 6. I want to show you something, a visualization, and also some quick table calculation on the same. So go to analysis, click create calculated field. The alternative we said was go to the drop down here, and then you'll see create calculated field. So I want us to use one of the available functions here for our analysis. Yeah, so we can call this profit. Yeah, why did I call it profit yet we have a profit variable in our dataset? Remember, the profit variable here has a combination of both profit and losses. Yeah, so what if I wanted to separate my profits and losses and just see how losses are associated with quantity or associated with sales, so we can understand what is causing the sales. What if I would just want to work with profit so that I can understand what I need to optimize for me to increase the profits? That's why I want us to separate both of them. And how we go about it, just create calculated field, give it a variable. Yeah, and then thereafter we're going to be using the functions available at this point. So I'm going to say if our profit is greater than 1, because anything greater than 1, that means it's a profit. Anything less than 1 is less, under the profit category, that's a loss. So I'll say if. You should see a function. The function is the if with the f in front of it. Just click on that. So if profit, you'll see the profit variable. That's the profit under our variable area here. Click on that. If profit is greater than, so I'll just use the greater than sign. If profit is greater than 1, if profit is greater than 1, then the output I should get is any value greater than 1 in the profit variable. Yeah, so let me check on something. This is the if function. That's the if, and then of course we have the if alone here. Just click on that. So it says if the expression, then the output. Of course, if you have more output you're looking for, you go ahead and say else until you end up your expression with end. So what's the purpose of the if? It tests a series of expressions running the then value and the first true expression. So if the first output, yeah, is met, then you get the results here. For example, in our case, we are saying if profit is greater than 1, then the result we should get is, oh sorry, I added another if, it shouldn't be there. Yeah, then the result we should get is anything greater than 1 in our profit variable. So let me type end here. Okay, I'm still having an error. Field or logical table. Yes, Naomi.
Lucy, I'm sorry, I don't know whether you had gone over this or it's for someone who doesn't know Tableau. What rules are you using in terms of, it's almost like the language or the coding you're using? What are the rules? Yeah, why are you putting brackets and all those things? Can you take us through that as well?
Okay, I didn't put any brackets, so probably if I rewrite it, you don't have to do anything. That's why I said we don't code. So if I type if, there's a pop-up of the if function. Yeah, and what I'm looking for is if the profit, for example, I said we are having a profit variable here in our data set, but if you drag the if the profit here to the view, you realize it's a combination of both the profit and loss. And we saw that when we created this plot here. This, you can see we have under the profit, we have the profit and losses. So what we are trying to do is separate them. So we have profits alone and losses alone. The reason that can lead to that is probably you want to know what's causing the losses. Yeah, what is leading to increase in profit, so that we can optimize it. That's why we are separating them. But on creating the calculated field, we're not coding. We don't have a rule whereby we need to add the brackets. So let me redo the process and realize what I'm talking about. I called this profit. And then on the typing here, I'm saying if, and whenever I type something, I get a pop-up. So I just select on that. So I select on if, the condition I want to work with. If profit, that's the variable we want to adjust, profit, you get the pop-up. Click on that. Once I click on it, it is enclosed. Okay, probably let me try something else. Let me try something different. Let me try something else before we come to that. Just a minute. That's on something we were supposed to cover yesterday called KPI. As I mentioned about it, KPI is called the key performance indicator, and these KPI are metrics that helps an organization or a company to detect whether they are still running on the right way when they are trying to achieve a certain goal. Because if you are trying probably to optimize sales, you have a strategy, and if you are running away from, or you are wavering away from the strategy you are running, then you tend to probably not optimize the profit. Yeah, so what you do is use KPI to make sure you track your process to achieving your goal that you're targeting. That's why we use KPI. And of course we have a number of types of them. That's the number KPI and the ratio KPI. But what I'll be mentioning is how, for example, if we have a KPI, for example, we want to identify the gross profit, in this case gross profit margin, because we already have our profit. Gross profit, you use it when you want to get the profit, whereby you are subtracting sales, the sales you have, then you subtract direct costs. That's how we get the profit. But because we already have the profit here, we don't have to calculate that. Otherwise, when calculating it, that's a KPI. When we want to get the gross profit margin, that's another KPI, and that's the one we want us to use. It's our in our notes. Probably we should check on that. That's on yesterday's notes. You'll see the gross profit. We also have the gross profit margin. And on this, to calculate the gross profit margin, we need the profit over sales multiplied by 100. Yeah, and to calculate that, again, we're going to be using the same process of create calculated field. And you realize there's nothing we're typing manually unless otherwise. So I go to analyze, create calculated field. Yeah, I call this gross profit or profit margin. Yeah, and we have seen to calculate it, you use profit divided by sales multiplied by 100. Yeah, so what we're going to do, you type profit, you'll see a pop-up. We're using the profit variable. Click on that, use the slash on the keyboard, then you're dividing by sales, so you just type sales, you'll see a pop-up. Click on it. Yeah, then you multiply by 100. By the use of the asterisk, you multiply by 100. One thing you'll note, for example, if you don't add any brackets between profit and sales, this multiplication is multiplying sales multiplied by 100. Because multiplication is according to the mathematical rules, multiplication comes before division. So if I run this function here, I'll have done sales multiplied by 100, then divide by then profit divided by the total, and that's not what I want. I want a division of these two, then you multiply by 100. At that point, you'll need to add the brackets, one at the front and another to the end, not the square one, the normal brackets. One there and another here. And what we are doing is encrossing the profit divided by sales, so that once the total of this is calculated, then you multiply by 100. Is that okay? Okay, so at that point, then you have to adjust. Then you click OK and you get your variable. You just click OK, and once you create anything through the create calculated field, you'll get the results as a variable itself, which means you can go ahead and plot with it, yeah, get a summation with it, and so on. Yeah, I'll give you an assignment whereby, yeah, using the create calculated field, and what you're supposed to do is use the calculated field to calculate the delay. We have the order date, and we have down here the ship date. Where is it? We have the order date. Yes, here it is. We have the ship date. So the period between the day you ordered to the day the delivered was done, that's the shipping date, that's the delay. Yeah, so how do you calculate that? So you're supposed to you make sure you calculate that, just in case you have a question, you reach out. In the meantime, let me go back to getting or separating the profits and losses. You go to analysis, create calculated field, and we were using the if. Yeah, so I type if profit is greater than 1, then the result I should get is the profit, which means anything in the profit field that is greater than 1. That's why we are not giving a different name. We are directing it to this point. Yeah, so that we get again the results, but then the positive, which is anything greater than 1. Yeah, sorry, I skipped. Then if profit is greater than 1, then we should use the then function according to the rules under the profit. Sorry, the if function. So I added an add and realized I'm having an error. That's what I was trying to look up to here. Okay, so let me call it profit 1 and see. Yes, what was affecting is I'm creating a field called profit, and again we have a profit already existing. So if you check on this down the error, what the error says here, it says a field or a logical table named profit already exists, so we need to give a unique name again. So we'll get this. Let's see how to use the same. So I click apply and okay. Yeah, so let me try and create a variable using this profit. So I drag profit here, and then add a variable. Let's say we had subcategory. Let me add subcategory under the row. Yeah, and as you can see, with the created field we have created, we are having our values running from 0 onwards. Yeah, 0 onwards. If I use profit, this is profit 1 we just created. If I add profit itself, the profit that was earlier in existence, you can see we have some losses. Okay, sorry, I'm having a problem with my voice. Just a minute. Okay, so this is the previous profit, and you can see we have a combination of profit and losses, because anything less than 0, that's a loss. But with the profit we just created, that's profit 1, we're having just profit. Let's create a calculated field for the losses. I go to analysis, create calculated field. I'll just call it loss, and then I'll say if, just click on if profit is less than 1, and then again I direct it to profit. Why are we not typing profit? Because the variable already exists, and we don't want any different variable. Sometimes in most cases you realize when renaming a variable we use the quotes. That's on other languages. When you're coding, you say loss. Yeah, that's the criteria we apply. But when you're using Tableau, we are not coding. We're just selecting the function we want us to generate the output, and then we have the output with us. So I'm saying if profit is less than 1, then under the profit category, anything less than 1 will be generated. And then end. So let's see. I'll click apply and okay. I'll use the same category we have in here. I remove profit 1 and add now the loss variable I just created. and now we just have losses from 0 to the highest loss. Is that clear? Okay, thank you. So that was the reason I was yes.
Can you repeat the formula?
Okay. I'm going to analyze, create calculated field. I've just used the if. If you come here to our function, if you can't see this pop-up of our formulas, you just click on this drop down to the right center, click on it, and you can see a pop-up of all the function. Just scroll and you'll see the if function. Probably if you want to work with the if and you don't understand how it goes, and you can see we have an example here that says if profit is greater than 0, then the output, else profit. Yeah, this is the example that we are following, and we are saying you just type if, because the function you're using, you want to say to categorize your data. If profit is greater than 1, it should be treated as profit. That's why we give it the name profit. So if I say profit, if profit is less than 1, then we're directing it back to profit. So here is where maybe probably some confusion comes. Let me type end, because you must end your function with end. Why we are typing then the result? It's because, and I've indicated that the reason is because we want all the values that are in the profit column that are less than 1. And we have chosen to add. For example, if we add in quotes here, oh, this is loss. Okay, it's valid. I guess it's not valid when you use double quotes. That's using the normal functions. The double quotes, let me try that. Okay, it's working. Just make sure you add with the end. If profit is less than 1, then it's a loss. Then you close your function with an add. Previously, we have just been indicating profit, which means that we don't want any other variable, apart from the list of entries within the profit category. I hope I haven't confused someone. Just in case, you can raise your hand. If you're okay, you can also let me know. Okay. Chris, did you get the formula?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, there you can see, of course, there are other functions. Just to mention, there are also other functions in here, and you can use them whenever you are working. For example, I've given you to use the create calculated field to get the delay, and I've said delay is the day. These are the days whereby after you made your order to the date when your shipping was done, the difference between the time difference, that's the delay. So you create that, you create a variable using the create calculated field. Just call it delay. Once you have calculated it, you give the feedback. Yeah, so I hope that's clear. So yes, Naomi.
Yeah, sorry. When you're doing the formula, let's say for the one for profit, do you have to have dragged the data into the column row, or you just input the formula only?
Oh, I didn't get you. So let me
I'm saying like when you're trying to separate the profit and the loss, when you're inputting the formula, the if profit, that one, yeah. Do you have to have dragged that data into the sheet on the column and row, or if you input the formula, it automatically picks?
Yes. You don't have to put them. For example, when we began by generating the losses, we didn't have anything in this worksheet, so the worksheet doesn't affect anything. You just go to analysis, create calculated field. The only thing you need is, if you check on our data area, the column you're working with must have to be existing here. Yeah. And another thing, of course, you can't run any function by using a categorical variable or a dimension, so you're using measures, and measures we see there in green. So you just type if or any other function, you'll see a pop-up. The same you type the variable, you should see a pop-up, and click on the pop-up. Yes. Okay. So I wanted to add on something. Okay, I'll recheck on the same. I wanted to generate a plot. I'm not really sure what how to go about it. Let me try. For example, if we want to generate a plot, remember I talked about the chart with both a graph and a line chart, and in this case we are supposed to have a date and a measure. For example, if we do a duplicate, we had a variable, we haven't done any duplicate with a current data set. I'll show you also how to go about doing a duplicate. Okay. So to do a duplicate, you just right click, and just the way we have been seeing a list of rename, we have hide, you'll see duplicate. Yeah, so you click on the duplicate so that you duplicate the sheet here. Yeah, and I want hello, can you hear me? Hello, can someone confirm whether you can hear me? Okay. So I wanted us to generate a chart whereby we have both okay, you realize something. I don't know whether you noticed this area on where we have the date. Once you change the date from, it exists as a dimension when it is at just months alone, and when you have both dates and month and year, you have a conversion of the look from what we have here. Yeah, so let me see, I'll drag date to this point. I wanted us to generate a combination of both the date and we need two measures. Okay, I get that. So let me just make it just the way it was, and then I remove the year and the quarter. I'll have the month, and then I'll just, that's how our chart previously looked. For us to get a combination of both a line and a bar, we need a date, and we also need two measures. If you just put your mouse here, you need two measures. We have sales, we can add profit. So let me drag profit, the normal profit, not the one we calculated. The way we added the dual axis, that's the same way you add the second type of measure. And you can see we have two lines. Once you click on this point, you get a combination of both. Okay, I would prefer a line chart whereby we have a bar of sales and profit to be the line, because currently the line is sales. You can put your mouse around there and you'll see that. So let me redo that. And this is how we're going to go about it. We're having a line chart. Of course, you can have it in form of a bar chart, but now let profit be the second point, not the first one. So I'm removing profit. I start with sales to be my first row category. Yeah, then next to it I add profit. Next to it I add profit, and we have both line and bar. And you can see on top what we have is we're having sales, or it should be the other way around. So let me see. Let me now add profit. Sorry, sales, not profit, sales. I guess it should be that way, so that the lower section becomes the bar, that's the sales, the profit becomes the line chart. Okay, let me see. I go to show me and then click on this chart called dual combination, a combination of bar and line. Click on that. Okay, I remove profit and add it as the second section, and then click on the dual. Okay, the same thing is happening. So okay, let's try and change something, because I wanted to have a bar to be our sales to be having under the bar, so that we don't have this low section dragging down, and then the sales the profit to be the line chart. Yeah, so to adjust on the same, we're going to be using the max card. Remember, I talked about the max card a number of times. It's very important, so we're trying to use it. So I'll come to where we're having the max card. We have all, and all shows the max card of both of them, just as we saw yesterday on the dual axis. We have sum of profit. The sum of profit is the bar, and then the line is sum of sales. So we're the one who we're going to adjust this manually. So I come to where we're having bars, just click on sum of profit. Yeah, and on the bar area, this box here for automatic, click on the drop down and make it line. Yeah, so we have both them as line. Then I'll click on sum of sales. It has a line, and we change this to bar. We convert it to a bar, on the other hand. I believe that's better. The only thing we should adjust is the colors, so that we change the bar to blue. So that's on sum of sales. Edit color. Then I go to profit. No, sales should be blue, and the profit should get this color. Then click OK. I believe that's better. Are we together, or should I redo it? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, should I redo it, or are you okay?
Yeah, redo it.
Okay. So let me just do it from scratch, whereby we are not just doing a duplicate as previously done. So we start by adding the date, and in this case we're using the order date. Then after adding the order date, I add the profit. Yeah, and again I add sales next to profit, and we have them, both of them, as bar. We're going to start by adjusting the date. You maximize it by opening the plus button. Again, do the same for the quarter. You remove the year and the quarter, and you're left with the month. Then on the month, you click on the drop down and make sure you have both month and year. I hope we are good to that point. Sorry. Yeah, everything looks okay. Then you realize when we click on this dual combination, we get a total different of what we expect. So we're going to be using the max card to get what we want. So under max card, we have 3 sections. One for all, whereby any adjustment you make here, it will be affecting both of our plots, or both of our charts. Then on the lower section, you have sum of profits. That's the max card for the profit chart. And you have sum of sales. It's the max card for the sales chart. So in the meantime, we have the sales as bar, and we want it as bar, but the line the profit, we want it as profit, as a line chart. So I'll just click on sum of profit, max card. On the pop-up where we're having bar, click on the drop down and convert it to a line. Just click on line, and we have a line and a bar, but still they're separate. Remember how we did a dual axis combination for yesterday's pie chart? We can go through the same process. Yeah, you come to the lower chart where we're having sales, right click, and then you click on dual. It should merge. You right click, then click on dual, and you have the same thing, other than clicking on the combination where it gives you the opposite of the alignment. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. So that's on creating. Of course, we have created a new chart. So we go to how to now save our work. How to save our work online, because as I previously said, we can't save our work on our computer. There's no option for that. And first of all, go to the data source. So you see we have all our worksheets. Yeah, we can rename the title of this. Sales profit. I'll just call sales profit. Sales profit over time. Just to change the title. Then come to the data source on the lower area where we did our joining. Yeah, when you click on file, you'll see multiple things, a number of things. One, we have been opening, we have been doing the new, whereby you open a new tableau file. Yeah, and you're able to work on a total different data set when you add a tableau. Yeah, so then we have the open from tableau public. This is where you open a tableau file which have been saved in your computer, and we're going to be seeing how to save one. Other data, we have this export tab. Yeah, you might make changes to your data, and maybe probably want to get it with the adjusted work. You can go ahead and export it as a .csv file. You can see we just have export as .csv file with either of your worksheets. Yeah, then just go to sheet 1 or any of the worksheets you can see here. Once you click on it, when we save, this will be, if I save my work on tableau public when under the pie, then what will be visible will be the pie. That's the screen view will be pie, whereas you'll also have anything else inclusive. Yeah, so let me minimize this tab here. Okay, I'm trying to close this window. I don't know why it's not closing. Okay, I'll try and close it as we move forward. So to save our work, go to File, and I've said make sure you are under the area whereby you want it to be your view. You can be at the dashboard, at the story, anywhere. Then you go to File, click on Save to Tableau Public or Save As. Either you're able to do that. Click on one of either Save or Save As, because you're saving the first time, so it should give you a similar pop-up. There's a window that opens whereby you're supposed to key in your details. Yeah, so we have the sign in. For probably in my case, I'm supposed to sign in because I already have an account. But if in our case where we are creating our first account, you just say create an account. Just click on create an account. Click on create an account. Then you key in your details: first name, last name, email, yeah, then you put in your password and confirm. Yeah, you put in a password, and you can see there are some few rules of creating. Password must contain at least one number, one uppercase letter and one lowercase letter, one special character, and be at least 8 characters long. Yeah, once that is done, you should see the warning out. So yeah, once you've created the password, you just click on create account. Yeah, you create account, then you'll be sent an email. You go to your mail and confirm. Go to your email and confirm. I can't create you can't create an account with one email multiple times, so I should get an error of the password because I've used it multiple times. Yeah, so once you create, you'll get this message: thank you for registering. You will receive an email containing a link. Confirm your registration and then follow the instruction. So you should go back to your email, yeah, and get the confirmation. Yeah, let me just refresh the page. You confirm your email, then once that is done, you're supposed now to just log in. So we have the activation code here. Then you click on the confirmation here. Yeah, It seems you already have an account with us. If you like to reset your password, okay, I already have an account, that's why I'm getting this message. But on your side you should get a confirmation link. So I'll just go back and log in. Yeah, I'll just close this, go again to file, save as. I'll get the same pop-up message, of which once you get to that point for thank you for registering, or thank you, the thank you message you'll get. Once you get that point, just close the window, and now you go again to file, save as, so that you will go again through the process, through logging in. Yeah, yeah, and then I key in my password. I hope we are together. Just in case you're stuck, you let me know. Once you confirm your message or your email, on the window you have a thank you message, you just close it. Then you go to file again, save as. Now sign in. Since you have an account already, you sign in. Make sure you put the password you created. Otherwise you might end up with an error. Then you sign in, and this is where we begin the process of saving our work. So is anybody having the pop-up I'm currently having? Okay, that's better. Is there anybody else, so anybody who is stuck probably in saving their work? Just in case, you can just unmute, or you can just leave a message. So at this point, what you're supposed to do is give your sheet a name. Yeah, let me call it correlation. Is it correlation? Okay, correlation. I just call it correlation. You can call it analysis, but I'm just guessing. I have an analysis workbook. I can just call it analysis 1. You give it a name, then click save. Just wait for the process to be done. The processing. If you're stuck, you can let me know as well as the processing is done, so that you're not left behind. So we have analysis 1. That's how I saved my work as. Yeah. So we have analysis by Lucy Nyokabi. That's how I keyed my first name and last name as. As you scroll down, you'll see the view you're having is where you saved your work when at. I saved my work when I was under this chart, the duo combination. If you saved your work when you're under the dashboard, then you should have a view of the dashboard. That doesn't mean the other work was not saved. Everything was saved. Every worksheet, every dashboard, every story you had created is saved already. So before I say more about the work we have saved, let me just click to Tableau and say something. Once you have created a dashboard, or you have created an analysis, and you know you have your dashboard, and probably for security purposes sometimes you may not feel okay uploading your work to online, yeah, where of course they can't adjust to any of your work, but now you may feel that this work should be done until, well, probably you at the point of saving. The recommended way is taking a screenshot, because at the end of the day the purpose of the dashboard is probably for presentation purposes, whereby you want to say this is where the data was collected, this is the analysis I did, this is our progress, yeah, depending on the research or the analysis you are looking forward to. You can take a screenshot of the dashboard, also of the story, of probably the chart that you want to present. Once you take a screenshot, you add it to your Word document, to your PowerPoint where you're presenting your work. Yeah, that's one way of going about it. The other way is saving your work, and then let me show you ways of how to access the work. There may be probably the problem with just the problem with just taking a screenshot is that once you have taken the screenshot, then you will just lose your work, yeah, unless you redo it. Because once your machine starts hanging or starts having a problem, and probably you think of restarting it, then you'll lose your data, yeah. So the alternative is saving. You save it online. So let's go through the process. After saving, you'll have a number of things. As you scroll down, you can see a number of things. One is the details of people who have added the favorite, yeah, people who have viewed. I have just one view. And then the analysis details, that's when it was published, and any update you do, it will be indicated here. I'll go back to the top, where to the right you can see the edit. If you want to edit anything about your work, you just click on edit. It takes you to the dashboard view. It takes you to the dashboard view, whereby you can edit the sheet. Just wait for it to load. Yeah, you can edit the worksheet itself. You can see we have, from data source, we have sheet 1. If I click on sheet 1, we had a pie. If I click on sheet 5, we had a donut. So that means our work was saved. And probably if you check on my work, it doesn't have any labels here, and probably I want to add some, I can do that. So this was, what was this? Sales per segment. So I can drag segment into label, and then oh, it already has labels, so you can see it's rewriting. Let me see, it shouldn't be rewriting. Okay, the labels are there. Then we have the sales. If it rewrites, it means they were there as well. So we have added the labels. So that's how our plot looks like. Yeah, once you make the adjustment, any adjustment you make, you'll just go ahead and publish. Just click on publish. You can see the publish on the top right, so you click on publish, and your work would be published. So let's see. Okay, let me go back to the worksheets. You can either do that or just close this part here. I already click on publish, so it shouldn't be affecting. It should take me back to, okay, it's loading. Yeah, and after closing, you're able to go back to your view area here. So I've saved again when I'm having this donut, so my view will be the donut. Probably I should have made it a little bit intense by probably changing the background, so let me do that in a minute. Just right click, format, and I change the color shading, so you can see where the formatting is in the right, and I want to change the shading, the worksheet fill. Yeah, yes, that's better. Then I click on publish again and close at the editing point. So you can see the reflection of my adjustments. So this is how my view looks like. So you are the one to choose how under edit. You are the one to choose how you want, which should be your cover page. Yeah, when people are seeing your screen, which should be the major point of view they're getting. Yeah, if you change and then click publish and close, then that's where it will be the viewpoint. I close, and again I get a different view. That's on editing. I hope that's clear. We have the favorites. If you want to add the favorite, you can share. At this point, you'll share. Yeah, you see, given the link, so you can share a link and someone is able to access your work. Then we have the download. This is the most important part. If you click on the download tab here, you can download your work as an image. You can download the data if you're having the data alone. You can download. I'm sorry, but don't wanna talk. Yeah, sorry. So you can download it as a cross tabulation. We have a PDF if you want your work as a PDF. We have been working with PDF. We have PowerPoint if you want to download it direct to the PowerPoint. We have Tableau workbook. I want to mention something about Tableau workbook. Remember when we were under Tableau and I said if you go to file and open from Tableau public, yeah, and then you open a Tableau saved workbook. So the same case apply in case you save or download your work as a Tableau workbook, then it means you can only open it under the workbook area in the Tableau public area. Yeah, so depending on how you want to download your work, then you're able to download. And then, for example, if you download as an image, you add it to your PowerPoint, you add it to your Word document, and you're able to continue and add your details on that case. Again, once you save your work here, you can access it anytime, and this is how you go about it. Yeah, so let me close this. For example, I've saved this work. If you want to see this work and the previous ones, you can see where I'm having this profile like on the top right, just next to the search bar. If I click on that, click on my profile, it will show me all the work that I've previously done. Yeah, this is the current one that I've just saved. You can see it has 10 views. This was the previous ones, the dashboard, yeah, with how I named them. And of course, you see we have the delete. Probably you come and realize, oh, I missed up something, or I uploaded by mistake. Then you can go ahead and click on the 3 dots here and you delete the visualization. Viz for visualization, you can also delete it. Yeah, so you are able to access and have a visual and have a view of your previous works. Yeah, it's a lot of it. So yeah, So then that's on accessing your work. What if you want to access other people's work? Yeah, for example, other previous people who have done an analysis and uploaded their visualization. This is how you go about it. You see you having the tableau name, tableau public on the left top. Click on that. Tableau public. Click on that. And you can see we have vis of the day or visualizations of the day. If you scroll downwards, you should see a list of all the most popular or the most viewed visualizations. Yeah, the first one is the periodic table of wine with 69 favorite, 1500 views. All this, and you can click on each and open it on your computer. Is that clear? Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Is there anybody having a question? Yes, Belinda.
What about if I want to view your work?
My work.
Yes.
Okay. You can either I can share with you the link. That's one way. Let me see whether we have a search. We have a search here. Let me try and search.
Yes, please, if you can.
I hope you can hear me. So let me try and search my name here. I'm not really sure. I'm searching by the name I think I gave. Let me see. Okay, these are the names of the visualizations, not the names of people. But let me see. Okay, it's a number of them, so probably searching will take a number of times. You can see you have a lot of people called Lucy. I don't know whether it's not bringing the two names. Okay, one thing I've realized is that it's searching the name. If I give the dashboard, for example, this is Lucy Progress, Lucy Tableau. So if I saved my work by my name, then I search it, I get the name. Unless now I search the name of the visualizations. Let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, yes, you can see that you search the name. We have visualization point and we also have others point. So okay, thank you for that, Dennis. Thank you. So I hope we are good to that point. Okay, so you can do multiple visualization. Of course, I'll share with you a project that you're supposed to work on, and then once I share the project, work on it. In case you're having any question, you can reach out. If you're stuck as well, you can reach out. Otherwise, that's what we're going to be covering for Tableau. I don't know whether there is someone who's having a question on importing. Was it importing? Yes, the PDF. Are we good? Okay, maybe I should do that. Let me just do it for someone who was stuck somewhere. I'm coming to file and then open new, or you can just go to data and open new data source. Probably to be easier. Click on PDF, and we were importing Amazon PDF. Yes, it is. Click on it, locate it, and then open. And one thing you should note, we said that it's a range data set, so the problem was, I guess, the union, of which, let me just open the Amazon stock so that we can have a view where the data starts and where it ends. You can see it's a whole entire data set, but the data that we need, that's the date open high, runs from page 2. Is it 2? Yes, it's running from page 2. And where I'm looking the pages here, I don't know whether you can see that. This point on top, because I can't see any page number on the pages. So if I scroll up, this is page 2, and the table is running from page 2 all the way to page 8. So if I come to Tableau, then I should say it starts from page 2 and it ends in page 8. Then click OK. Yeah, the data will be extracted, and we have the tables. Yeah, and at this point you realize the best thing about this data set, we just have one table for each page. If in case you experience a case where you have under one page 2 tables, then you have to make sure you have a view of which table is where representing the data. Then we start with page 2, drag the table here, and this is how we said we are doing the union. I'll take page 3, that's the table in page 3, and drop it when I see the name union, not only the name, but it is filled with this color. Yeah, you can see the name at that point, but once you drop it, the union won't be done until that union field is filled. I hope that's clear. Then once that's done, you drop it, and once the union is done, you see these 3 blocks together that indicate there is a union between 2 tables. Yeah, so you do the union, and of course, because of the null values that might be there, if there are no values, well and good. In case you have null values, then you can go ahead and use the data interpreter so that it will help in clearing your data. Yeah, the renaming, we also talked about it. For example, this is F1, but when you come to the data itself, that's the date column. So again, you need to rename that. You just click on the drop down here, and then click on rename and call it date. Yeah, and it's renamed, and you do the rest for, we don't have a number of columns, they're just few, so you rename them according to your tables. We have date open, we have high, we have low, close, just adjusted, close, and volume. Once that's done, then you go ahead and go to the sheet, and you're able to analyze your work. Is that okay? Okay, so I hope we are together to that point. As I've said, if you have a question, you can reach out. That's all for today. I'll share the project, work on it, and share it through the email. Otherwise, have a nice evening. I'll be adjusting the link as well for the Monday class. So yes, Naomi.
Just a question, sorry. How many data sources can you kind of upload when you're using Tableau?
Okay, there are multiple of.
Can you upload like different Excel sheets or more than one PDF and a combination thereof? Can you do that?
Yes, you can do that. For example, if we under this connection, we have one the add here. If you want to add a different, if I add a PDF, then it will be added on top of what we have here. For example, in most cases when you're working with worksheets, the Excel worksheet, you'll have an experience of the union, yeah, whereby you have different sheets. But if they are saved separately, otherwise you can use the add. It also had a different, let me go back to sheet, the worksheet. Let me see something. Okay, my machine is hanging. I'm not really sure what's the cause. But again, under sheet 1, on top under the data area, we have two data sources. We have the order date plus the people plus the return. That's on the Superstore data we imported. On the lower we have the table. I hope you can see that. So let me try something. I'll try to add a date from, this is the second sheet, and then a variable, let's say quantity. In order to use field from order Superstore, relationship need to be within the pages. Select edit relationship. Okay, they have to be related. Of course, you can see having the output, but we have a query here. We have to work on something. Let me change this to a line. Okay, I was trying to use the order variable here in the data set, the PDF we imported, to see whether you can work with both of them. But it says they have to be a relationship between the two variables. So you have to make sure you do the adjustment. Again, back to the data source, you go to add, you added a file. Not really sure whether I have a file. Let me try add a Microsoft sample. Let me try and locate the sample dataset we previously used. So one thing you'll realize, I just clicked on add a data source. I clicked on add next to connection, then Microsoft, and then I locate the sample. I believe it was under document, and the sample, then click open. Yes, that way. So now you can see we have two connections, Superstore and we have sample. But again, we need to have a connection. So that means for us to connect either by the union or by the you can connect either by the union or by the join. Yeah, so if these two have matching columns, then you use the join, whereby I'll just drag sample and add it somewhere here. Yeah, otherwise, let me drop it. Otherwise, if there's no relationship or they don't have a common field, you do the union with a purpose. Probably the sample, you do the union if sample was a continuation of Superstore. If it was not a connection, it's not a continuation, then you do the union. I hope I answered your question. Okay. Thank you so much. Any other question? Okay, that's all for today. We meet on Monday on SQL. Okay, someone says still need a new meeting invite that is recurring. Okay, what I'll do, I'll adjust the title to just the scale, and then once I share, you let me know. You let me know whether there is a difference. I'll be doing that before our next class. I'll adjust the title, check on everything, then I'll reshare the link, and then from next week you let me know how it goes. Okay. Have a good night.